Hello everyone, welcome. This is not like my usual setup, but it's just a video that I think I should do for just anyone out there who's like in any phase. Whether it's like you're in school or you're at the internship phase or you're looking for a job, whatever phase it is. Currently, I was just looking back at every point of my career from my internship, from when I did my internship to my NYSC, to come in here, just looking at my career path basically, every single place I've worked, and I noticed how unique every place was, even if it wasn't maybe, as humans we are generally wired to always, when you're in this season, you're like looking for the next big thing, or what's the next big thing, where's the next big place I can go to, and sometimes we fail to see the good or the beauty in whatever phase or season that we are in. And I was just looking back at how there has been like a very good thing about every place I've literally been, every place I've actually worked in, from my internship working in Lagos to my NYC. My NYC is like the funniest one. And I feel like I told someone the NYC period for me was still like the most flexible period for me. Working in the lab, like my lab was chilled. And it's so funny that since after my internship, I've not done any on-call periods. I've always just worked like a proper 9 to 5 or like shift jobs. But I think proper 9 to 5, I've actually never really worked on call. And I know some people, that's a flex for some people, but I feel like my career path has just been very unique. And now that I look back at it, obviously in the moment while I was in NYC Gold, I felt like, oh, this place is not where I want to be. My mates are in Lagos, my mates are in Abuja, doing this, doing that, and I'm in one city, one small town in Ibarapa. In fact, there wasn't even lights in the community. It was only the lab that used to run Gen. And looking back now, I realized that every job I've ever worked, no matter how short, actually built me to this point. He has opened my eyes to see things. While I was in Nigeria, I worked with SynLab, and that also he opened my mind to see possibilities. I have dreams, I have goals and aspiration in my career where I want to get to. And every role I've been in has actually opened my eyes to see, oh, this is possible, this is possible. When I started working in SynLab in Nigeria, I realized how much was possible, like in terms of automation with, well, I've heard it theoretically, but I got to work with it and see it in play. People say, even me too, trust me, while we're in school, the standard is, oh, biomedical science, I'm not going to do lab work. And as much as, yes, lab work can be very routine, I've come to see that even within biomedical science, if you open your eyes, if you open your mind to biomedical science, you see opportunities in it. Seeing something happening around you opens your mind to, oh, this is possible. It's possible that, oh, you have a goal, oh, I'm a biomedical scientist, but I want to do this, I want to do that, and you've not necessarily seen it. In biomedical science, I say there are people in biomedical science that have gotten to some good and certain places where they are like perfectly goal worthy, but there is no much limelight or exposure on them. So sometimes as an up and coming biomedical scientist, it can be like there's nobody to look up to, there's nobody that I can say, oh, this is who I want to be. And even the people that you see in the limelight, you don't know the extent to which what their work is. You don't know what their work entails, or maybe they are biomedical scientists, but in terms of, you don't know if they work in the lab 24/7, or you don't know exactly what their work entails. So sometimes it's hard to say, oh, this is where I want to be, until maybe you start working with people or start working in close proximity with those kind of people. So yes, I'm grateful that every job I've worked, right from Nigeria, from leaving school to this very point, it has broadened my mind. It has given me, even maybe in the moment I might not have realized it, but looking back, I've realized how much every place I've worked has been a blessing. And my advice to anyone out there who is a biomedical scientist or you're working in science generally, I don't think just, I'm not streamlining it just to biomedical science, you're working in science generally, that things are possible. If you can dream it and imagine it, it is possible. I know sometimes it might be hard because it might be hard because you might not, there are no defined paths. Like there's no, oh, do this and then you get here, get this job, or do this and you get here. There was something that was said in a discipleship class that my apostles actually taken. I'm going to be paraphrasing, but how the brilliance of the Bible is that in each and everybody documenting their lives, they're actually working in pattern to get to that place that God has said they will get to. So also understanding that every place you're going to work, there's a reason why you're working there. There's a reason. There is something to gain from that place, no matter how inconsequential it may seem. That even if you have people who are working in certain places that you feel like you should work in, it doesn't mean a thing. It honestly doesn't mean a thing. Like I tell people, everyone coming here, everyone was always saying, oh, working in the NHS, you have to work in the NHS, blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm not saying eventually I'm going to work in the NHS, but then I've seen the beauty of not working in the NHS. I can't say about the beauty of working in NHS, obviously, because I've not been there. Once I enter the system, I'll be able to say, I've learned in this, my career journey and in life generally, to know that I will always want bigger things, but sometimes to take a pause and appreciate the things I currently have. So appreciate that job you currently have. I know you're a student. Appreciate what you're learning as a student right now. Appreciate the fact that you have lecturers to teach you. Appreciate the fact that there are a lot of things you can control. If you're currently job searching, appreciate the fact that there are opportunities out there and you will get that job. If you're in a job and you want to switch, appreciate the fact or the lessons or the skills you are currently learning in that job, the opportunities, even if it's like paying your bills, the people you've met, the things you've seen around you in terms of like when it comes to career roles, or you're seeing somebody doing maybe training officer, quality officer, seeing how they work. Just appreciating that even if you might not necessarily be working in that skills, even if you're not necessarily working in that skill, you're learning from the fact that you're seeing it, you're learning from it. Yes. So this is very random. I'm just taking my break out here to speak. Now we have to go back to work. Well, thank you and let me know what you've learned in your career journey so far.